Welcome to Todd Miller TV, your resource for what's current in the Las Vegas real estate market. And I wanted to have a chat with Oana. Oana, thank you very much for being here.
Having me.
So I want to talk about HAFA, which is this new short sale program the government has come up with. So tell me sort of a little overview. What exactly does it mean? What does it mean for a person getting their house, that needs a short sale?
Well, there are two programs out there. There's HAMP and there's HAFA.
Okay.
And HAMP has to do with loan modifications.
Okay.
And HAFA has to do with when the loan modification is either not an option or was unsuccessful. And that is where the property is being conveyed either back to the lender through a deed in lieu of foreclosure or through the sale, which is a short sale. The really nice thing about HAFA, if nothing else, is two things. First of all, it outlines a timetable that if you're participating in HAFA, it outlines this timetable where everybody has to respond. The borrower has certain obligations during this timetable, and so does the lender. And so that makes it very nice because now you have an expectation of how this transaction is going to proceed. The other nice thing about HAFA is that if your lender is participating in this, then when the transaction is all said and done, then you as the borrower will not have to concern yourself with the lender coming back and wanting the rest of the money, so the shortage,
Okay.
or the lender asking you to sign a promissory note. So once you walk away from the property and everything's signed and done, then it's kind of like a get-out-of-jail-free card as far as that property is concerned. There are some limitations.
Okay.
Some of the limitations include it has to be an arm's length transaction. That means that your friends, your family, your business associates cannot be the buyers of that property.
Okay, so if I've got so let's say I've got a property and I've got it listed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get involved with HAFA?
Yes, you can. HAFA, the way HAFA was designed to work is it was designed that you would actually go ahead and list the property once you've already started the HAFA process.
Okay.
However, if your property is already listed and you have an offer, there's an alternative to that, and HAFA provides for that as well.
Okay. So what I can't do is I can't take my house, sell it to my brother,
Mm-hmm.
and then sort of stay there and just have that ridiculous loan amount reduced to some small amount and
Exactly.
maybe later on have my brother deed the house back to me.
Exactly. No, that can't happen. It can't be your brother. Like I said, it can't be a relative, a friend, a business associate. It has to be a stranger, basically.
Okay. What about investors? If I was an investor, could I buy a short sale through HAFA and then flip it?
Well, the short answer is you can't flip it immediately.
Oh, okay.
Okay? The property cannot be conveyed to someone else again within 90 days. So if that investor buys a property, fixes it, rents it out for a few months or a year, and then goes ahead and sells it, that's fine. It just can't change hands again within 90 days.
What if there's a first and a second? Is it that they both, that debt is sort of forgiven, or how does that work?
All the lenders that have agreed to work under HAFA will go ahead and write off that debt. What needs to be understood is that there may be tax consequences to that debt, and that depends on your income versus the amount of the mortgage payment. It depends on a lot of different things, so that's something that all borrowers should go ahead and contact their tax professional to advise them on.
Okay. Relocation expenses. Wachovia's got this program where they'll give up to $5,000 in relocation for the person to, voluntarily short sale and move out.
Right.
Is there money in HAFA for this?
Yes. Part of the HAFA program is that the borrower's lender is going to give them $3,000 to relocate. Now, what you have to understand is that HAFA is a program, it's not a law, so it is voluntary, and that the lender's policies, guidelines, investor guidelines, those may supersede HAFA. So that's why HAFA's limit is $3,000, but Wachovia offers up to $5,000. So that's why you've got that discrepancy. But the general HAFA guidelines are $3,000.
Okay, so you could sell your house, get $3,000, walk away from the debt, essentially, maybe have some tax consequences. You have to talk, I guess you have to talk to your CPA about that.
Absolutely.
And so it sounds like a good program.
It is a really good program. Borrowers should really consider participating in it. If for whatever reason HAFA isn't working the way you think it should, still proceed with the short sale, because it really is a much better alternative than a foreclosure. It's better for your credit. It's a much less traumatic experience than a foreclosure. It is a much better deal for everybody all the way around.
Okay, so do they have to do anything? Do they have to call somebody, or can they just come right to their real estate agent if their real estate agent understands? Can the real estate agent kind of help them through everything?
Going to a real estate agent is probably your best move, because they're very familiar with the programs. And they are familiar generally with the lender that you're working with, so they can help you a lot. They'll go ahead and let you and call the lender with you right there in the office, coach you through the whole process, and really that is just so important. Having somebody coach you through the process is invaluable. And remember, none of the costs, including the real estate agent's costs, are a burden of the borrower. That is something that the lender will pay for. So it is a service that is free to the borrower, and it is really an invaluable service. And remember that real estate agent is representing the borrower. It's the person who's your cheerleader, who is watching your back, who's watching out for you. And it makes so much sense to have somebody like that on your side, rather than dealing with the bank on your own and not knowing if you're missing something.
Great. Well, sounds like a good program.
Yes.
I think this runs till the end of 2012, doesn't it?
It does. One of the other reasons why you want to use a real estate agent is because banks, for example, like Bank of America, have said that they will only process short sales through a portal called Equator. Well, the average person doesn't have access to something like that.
Right.
And so there are a lot of intricacies to this, and sometimes it's just submitting the documents that is difficult for a borrower to do. So a real estate agent really makes a difference between a transaction that is a business transaction and a transaction that is traumatic.
And my understanding, and for the short sales that I've been involved with, they will not accept here's an agreement, just go for it. They want to see that it's been listed in the MLS, that it's had market exposure. The old day of, I'm a for sale by owner, I'm going to take my house and just sell it to you, and then we're going to go down to the title company. If they hand that over to a bank and say, we want a short sale and here's the terms, they're going to say, wait a minute, you haven't had market exposure, we don't know that you couldn't have gotten more for the house.
That's a distinct possibility. And remember, like I said before, every lender has their own guidelines and procedures and investors to answer to, and HAFA is a broad guideline, while each bank is very specific. And generally they do want to see the property marketed for a period of time. They want to make sure that they are getting market value for the property, that they are getting the most money, because remember, they are having to write off that deficiency, so they want to make sure that they're not writing off any money than they absolutely have to.
Good. Anything we forgot?
Definitely utilize a real estate professional. It makes all the difference in the world.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for coming, Oana. And feel free to make some comments there below the post if you liked it, or buzz it up or something like that. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you on the next episode. Bye.